Hello, welcome back to another rugby video on the Rugby channel, and today I'm going to be talking about my predictions for the 2026 Nations. And yeah, it is that time of year again. I did one last year and it turned out to be quite successful, and obviously I've got better knowledge in the game now, as you do going along with having the channel for the first year going. So you have better estimations and stuff because obviously you do more research. I know obviously people are going to disagree with my predictions in this video, and some of you may agree. It's just opinion based, so please don't leave any hate. Anyway, let's get into the video. Welcome back to another rugby video. Please make sure you go ahead and smash that like button to show your support for the channel, and if you are new, please go ahead and subscribe. We upload rugby videos every single week guaranteed, so please click the notification button so you don't miss out. Okay, so usually when I do these videos, I usually have a plain background, but today I thought I'd go ahead and show some, basically stock footage I have of, tier 3 nations playing rugby, whilst talking about the Six Nations, just because it makes it more interesting for the video, and obviously you're just not staring at just a random picture. Anyway, yeah, obviously this video hasn't got any relation at all to the Six Nations, it's just to make it a bit more interesting. Now, obviously, this would be everybody's dream Six Nations table, Italy winning it, and Scotland coming second, and France being third, and then all the rest of the teams at the bottom. And obviously, this is highly unlikely to happen, although it would be pretty awesome if it did. It would very, very unlikely for it to actually happen, although many of the European teams would wish it would, but there we are, let's just not talk about that one anyway. So, as we know, last year's Six Nations champions was Wales, with England coming in second. And then, obviously, this was the World Cup year, and a lot was going for all the teams, really, to try and get in a decent performance and just overall try and impress everybody going into the World Cup. You'd want as much success as possible and really trying to gel your squad together. And obviously, now, this year is kind of like the after effect of the World Cup. And a lot of these estimations probably will be based on World Cup performances, and well, unless they had an autumn international, kind of like what Wales did with the Barbarians. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to take into fact that how they performed in general in last year's tournament, as well as the Rugby World Cup and or their previous games as to date anyway. So this is what these predictions are. Okay, so first of all, let's clean that whole point selection of this table, because we're not going to be talking about that today, unless you're just going to be putting my places and ratings in. So obviously ignore this one as well. It's literally just me wiping away all the points. So this is my bottom place side. Okay, so in that bottom place is Italy, and I just feel like it's not going to be the greatest of campaigns for Italy in this year's tournament yet again. I feel like they're going to struggle a lot with the breakdown, and when it comes to the actual well, home advantages, they're not really going to have much to come for them. As you can see, they are playing Wales in Cardiff, so I can't really see them getting much of a result there. In their second game, then, they will be playing France in Paris. Again, they've done it before, but I think it's going to be a very, very difficult task for them, especially coming back away from the Rugby World Cup, having a poor performance. Yeah, okay, arguably it was unfair that they were knocked out because they didn't actually get to play their final game against New Zealand, but it was also the fact, they just didn't seem to play very well. And then obviously they're playing Scotland then over in Rome. I think that is a potential target for them if they wanted to try and finish higher up, more above than 6th place. And then in round 4, they will be playing Ireland in Dublin. Again, I can't see much of a performance there from them. And then in round 5, they'll be playing England in Rome. And I think that will be a very interesting game. I think they will get some points against England. But unfortunately, I just can't see them getting much of a result in that one either. It is a real shame, I know, but like I said, it's, again, if they put money into the Italian teams, going into the club level, investing in the players, and just overall trying to make the best effort they possibly could with the whole colleges, the schools, everything, trying to push rugby as a sport to them, I think Italy would have a decent squad. But as it is now, they have really good players, but I don't know, they just don't seem to gel together, and when it comes to tournaments like the World Cup and Six Nations, they just don't seem to perform up to their standards. And it is a real shame, like I said. I know I have a lot of Italian followers, but unfortunately, I think it's going to be 6th place, or possibly 5th. It already depends on that Scotland game. Okay, so up next is my 5th place, and as you can see, I have put Scotland in 5th place. I just feel like Scotland hasn't had the greatest of Rugby World Cups either. As you guys know, they lost to Japan, and they just did, and well, they lost to Ireland as well, so it just wasn't the greatest of tournaments for them. And overall, they just haven't seemed to gel together. Kind of like Italy, they have quality players, but they just don't seem to perform on the day. And like I said, it is a real shame. Just like I said with Italy, but again, it seems to be Scotland and Italy always seem to be fighting for bottom place when it comes to the Six Nations, as of lately anyway. Scotland will be playing Ireland in their first game over in Dublin, and I can't really see them getting much of a result with that one either. Again, Ireland is a very difficult place to go to against them, and again, with it being Scotland, I just don't think there'd be much of an outcome. And I'm sorry, Scottish fans, but it is true. Scotland then will play England in Murrayfield. Now, I think that's going to be an amazing game to watch, and in this whole tournament in general, I do think Scotland could potentially do some massive upsets, and I do feel that they could easily beat England if they really played their hearts out like they have in previous years. So I'm not actually going to say my outcome for Scotland versus England, because I don't really want to be doing that, but like I said, I do feel that they will make upsets, and this is a game they could easily upset. Then Scotland's next game after that is Italy in Rome. Again, I feel like that should really be an easy win for them, although Italy are tough for Scotland. Especially when you're in Rome. Italy are tough for any team, to be honest with you. And then going into round 4, Scotland will play France in Edinburgh, and I think that will be a very interesting game. Scotland v France is always a very tough game to watch, and also a tough game to play, I'd imagine, for the players. So again, I think Scotland can really try and aim to win 2 games as Six Nations, one big upset, and obviously one of them should either be against France and Italy. It all really depends on the day how they play. And then Scotland's final game is Wales in Cardiff. Now, as a Welshman, I want to say Scotland shouldn't really win that. But again, it all really depends on how Scotland play on the day and how Wales are performing in this tournament, which we'll get onto in a sec. Okay, so up next in 5th place, I have France. Now, France is always a very difficult team to really predict when it comes to any tournament, to be honest with you, in rugby. They always, it's very tough to say what team is going to turn up with them. Sometimes they're absolutely amazing and they could be the world's best in that specific game. And then it could be a big game decider who's going to win the tournament and they perform terrible. So it is very hard to predict with France. So that's why I've kind of put them mid-table team, because it's just so tough to predict. France's first game is against England in Paris. And I think that will be a very interesting encounter, and it would also really depend on how England is going to perform in the campaign. I think that first game is always the one that really starts to judge how the team is going to perform in the tournament. So whoever wins that one, I think, will kind of be like a sort of title decider, maybe. I mean, they'd be definitely favourites between the two of them. If France beat England, I think a lot of people would be starting to favour France for maybe the tournament or to finish high place anyway, maybe second. And if England beat France, then obviously they've still got a tough path to go. So, like I said, I think that's going to be a very interesting game. France's second game after that then will be against Italy in Paris. Again, I think that should be an easy game for France. It all really depends what sort of tournament they have and their game plan and tactics and so on. And then in round 3, they will be playing Wales in Cardiff. That's always such a cracker to watch, to be honest with you. As a Welshman myself, France is always such a tough team, and it's just always an enjoyable game to watch. I mean, I know Wales has had a bit of luck in the past few years against France, but like I said, it's always such a great game to see. So in round 4 then, France will be playing Scotland in Edinburgh, and I think that will be an interesting game as well, like I just said with Scotland's prediction. I think it will be very, very tough for the two of them, and it's always such a great and exciting game, Scotland v France, let's be honest with you. And then in round 5, which is France's final game, they will be playing Ireland in Paris, and I think that will be quite an exciting game to play as well. I mean, if Ireland are top at that point, it will be the title decider for Ireland, and well, it could even be the title decider for France. It all really depends on what team turns up, like I said, and it's so tough to predict, but I'm going to try and play it safe, and that's why I put France in 4th position. Okay, so in at third place is my team, which is Wales. Now, I feel with Wales, I would have loved to been able to say I reckon they're going to finish first. But unfortunately, I just feel like with Wayne Pivac becoming coach, and obviously we've only seen one game with Wayne Pivac being coach, and that's against the Barbarians, which we can't really count because we didn't really have many of our key players. I do feel that we will play kind of average just until Wayne Pivac kind of gets the sort of game plan back and running. I can't see us winning back-to-back titles, to be honest with you. I can see us putting in strong performances, just not to sort of not compared to the previous tournament. Then let's say that. So Wales' first game is going to be against Italy, which we've already discussed, and it should really be an easy win for Wales. Round 2, then we have Ireland versus Wales over in Dublin. Now, this is going to be a very interesting encounter, and I do feel that Ireland will be favourites for this one just because it's in Dublin. But on the day between Ireland and Wales, it's always anyone's game. Round 3, then we have England versus not England versus Ireland. Round 3, we will have Wales versus France. This is over in Cardiff as well, and obviously Wales will be favourites going into that. But then it all really depends on how they played against Ireland and what the outcome was. Round 4, we will have England versus Wales in Twickenham. That is always such a stressful game as a Wales fan to watch, and is also usually classed as one of the biggest games in the Six Nations and in the whole rugby world, to be honest with you. That's always a very exciting game to see. And then round 5 will be Wales versus Scotland over in Cardiff, which will be the final game and also the first game on that Saturday. So I think, like I said, Wales will have above average campaign, but I just feel like they're not going to be in the same sort of level to be competing for the title. I might be completely wrong and I might be surprised because we haven't really seen much of Wayne Pivac's game style with Wales. And we haven't seen the team selection. I mean, he could pick some new debut players and they could be absolutely amazing and we could be the team to beat. But we don't know that, and that's why I'm just going to play it safe and say Wales will finish third. Okay, so up next is my second place team, and that is Ireland. Now, Ireland, I do feel, had a very, very poor World Cup. Much better than Scotland, but also poor. Obviously, that loss against Japan as well being one of the key points, and then being destroyed by the All Blacks. But Ireland on the day, when it seems to be playing against Northern Hemisphere teams, they seem to play quite well. Obviously, last year was kind of below par for Ireland. But they have quality players, and I do feel like they have a sort of coming back together sort of feel to them for this Six Nations. So Ireland's first game is going to be against Scotland over in Dublin, and I think this should really be an easy win for Ireland, but then it already depends on how far they've sunken since the World Cup. This will be a very interesting encounter as well, because the last time we saw these two teams was over in Japan in the World Cup. And it was still an interesting game, but Ireland did win it, but I do feel that it was a very poor game to watch. Round 2, we will see Ireland versus Wales over in Dublin as well. Again, this is going to be a cracker of a game. All really depends on what sides turn up for the two teams. And then round 3, we will have Ireland versus England in Twickenham. Again, this could potentially be the title decider. I think whoever wins that will probably go on to win the tournament, just because those two teams have always competed quite well in the Six Nations. And like I said, Wales has got a new coach, so Wales, I just feel, are kind of out of the running for the tournament. But like I said, it's anybody's game. It's anybody's game on the day. Okay, so then finally, I've predicted England will win the 2020 Six Nations, and I just feel that this is because England got the furthest in the Rugby World Cup. They put a strong performance against New Zealand when it mattered. South Africa were much better on the day, but to be honest, they deserved to beat it. England were the standout team in the World Cup besides South Africa, and they put in some good performances against teams when it mattered. I do feel that the run of games that they have as well will come into an advantage for them. With France being their first game over in Paris, it's going to be tough. But I do feel that if they win that, they should really go on to perform quite well throughout the whole tournament. And then they play Scotland in Murrayfield. I said that is going to be a tough game. I do feel it is going to be a tough game, and I'm not going to predict the outcome. But with England being predicted for the tournament in my predictions video, obviously it's favouring towards England beating Scotland, but kind of like deep down, I don't actually know who's going to win it. I'm just kind of going like standings here because I don't want to predict the games because it's so difficult to predict games. And then round 3, we know England will play Ireland in Twickenham. Like I said, this should really be the title decider, depending on what Wales team turns up in the tournament. And round 4, they will play Wales in Twickenham as well, so they're going to have that home run between the home games. And then in round 5, they will be playing Italy in Rome. So, like I said, I feel like they've got some good home advantages with their games, and with the form they had in the World Cup as well, and winning the silver medal, coming second, I do feel that would come into an advantage, and they are obviously the favoured team for the Six Nations. I do feel there will be upsets in games, like Scotland v England will be one that would be worth looking at, Ireland v Wales will be one worth looking at, and I also feel that Italy versus England is going to be an interesting game to watch, because it always usually is. Because is it England, I think, are the only team Italy hasn't beaten in the Six Nations? I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's true. So Italy always go into those games trying their best to get that win over the team that they haven't won against. So, like I said, Six Nations is absolutely amazing tournament. It's always the one tournament that's annual to look forward to in the rugby universe, as well as the Rugby Championship as well, obviously. But like I said, this is my predictions. It's just my opinion. Please don't give any hate, guys. Let me know your predictions in the comment section. And without further ado, that will be the end of today's video. Okay, all, thank you so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy. Please make sure you go ahead and smash that like button to show your support for this extra long video. Let me know in the comment section as well your predictions for the coming Six Nations tournament. I'm literally really interested to hear your opinions. Like I said, please don't give any hate. Just let me know your opinions down below, and then we could just talk about it. And please don't give me any hateful comments, because they'll literally just be removed. There's no point in doing it. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe. We upload rugby videos every single week, guaranteed. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I've been Andrew. I will see you in another video. Peace out, guys. I don't want you back.